The People's Party is also kind of represented an effort to bring together kind of left-wing populists and right-wing populists who share common enemies, but don't necessarily share a whole lot of common ideology. And so I'm curious, from your perspective, where was that effective, and where was it not effective?
So I believe that people should try and work together if they all have a common goal, right? And the issue with this right, left, and far extreme and all these things is, me as a Black person, if your goal as a white extremist is to get something done for your people, I'm not included in that. So I can't be working with you towards that effort because I'm not going to gain anything from that effort. You have to be willing, anyone with any kind of extreme response to people who are not like them, they have to be willing to kind of step back from that thing in order to work together so that all of us can get the same thing done. Because in the end, we all have the same goals. Everybody wants to live and have a roof and have food and be happy. And like, it's not rocket science, but you can't work together with people who literally don't believe that you should have the same things that they have. And it really came to play sometimes, the night before the big purge, which is what we call the night that, multiple people were kicked out of the People's Party Slack and all of their information and platforms, was the day before. There was a huge conversation between a group of Black people and a group of white people, and the group of white people were basically telling the Black people that they had a right to use the N-word. Obviously, we did not agree, and there was a huge contentious conversation that went back and forth on the Slack. And what bothered me was when this purge happened, all the Black people who were involved in that conversation, they all got booted out of the Slack. They all got memos telling them they were no longer welcome in the party. And, all but one of the white people was allowed to stay. And the one white person who thinks that something called an impasse exists actually spoke at the next meeting that was hosted by MPP for the volunteers. So this is what happens when you try to play that game with the right and left, and you don't acknowledge that the class struggle and the race struggle are entwined in such a way that you cannot separate them. You cannot pretend that one doesn't exist. And so
people who are watching understand. I've reviewed this exchange. Like this definitely happened. This is not her telling of this is not a controversial or slanted description of the events. There was in fact this debate over whether white people should be able to use the N-word. The people arguing it were allowed to stay. The people arguing against it were kicked out. This happened after what we could call the Puff Daddy incident. Can you quickly describe that for us as well, and then we got to run pretty soon?